Hey, we're talking about geek news up next on Geek Out SA.
Do not attempt to adjust your YouTube video. We control the stream.
And welcome back to Geek Out SA. It's Friday and we're having fun and we have a guest. Aaron from Get Your Geek On.
What up? How's it going?
How's it going? How's it
Good.
going?
Staying busy. Staying busy, man.
How are you staying busy during Corona?
I
I feel
filmed
like
a
we're
movie.
staying indoors.
I filmed a movie.
You filmed a movie.
Yeah, I was in a movie. I was co-starring it. All or Nothing by John Getta.
I saw that. I saw you went to the premiere. Looking a little swaggy there.
Yes, yes. One of my friends commented, she's like, "You cleaned up really well." I was like, "Yeah, because I just don't like to do it though." So
I can. I just choose not to.
I can. I just don't
and
want
due
to.
to COVID,
Exactly.
I kind of almost thought I had forgotten, but
Right? Truth.
It's
Very
that
true.
we're like, have I eaten too much during COVID to get in my nice clothes kind of moments?
Yeah.
It was.
It's
Like, okay,
so good.
no one saw the girdle right.
So what character were you in this production?
So in his film, I actually play a DEA agent who's chasing the main character, who is John Getta. He's a drug runner, cartel kind of guy, and so me and Adam are co-stars in it, and we basically are chasing him down the whole time.
Nice. And so where can people see this? Because it's out for people to see, right?
You can reach out to John Getta himself through Wolfsbane, and he'll send you a DVD copy. It's like $20 or something, or you can get on Venmo for rent or buy digitally.
Very cool. Very cool. So
cool.
some local talent getting out there, making movies. Nice.
We have a local actor right here.
Woo!
Very cool.
I wish I would. I gotta make it now, and I gotta get that money. I gotta make my money now with it.
So, we're talking geek news about... I mean, okay. Well, because we talked about this yesterday. I don't know when that's coming out. It's already out.
Yep.
So, we talked about this yesterday, and it's probably the biggest thing that's happened in the geek world, like, since this COVID stuff started. Controversial.
Yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, I feel like
It's the most current geeky thing that's happened.
It's the most
yeah,
current.
I feel like if anybody was paying attention, they saw this coming. Because it's not like she wasn't warned previously, and she hadn't done this previously and had been asked not to do things like this.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't say the same specific things before, but I mean, I wasn't shocked.
So what we're talking about is Gina Carano. And she's the actress that plays Cara Dune in The Mandalorian. So, what are your views on that character in The Mandalorian?
I'll let Aaron go first. No, I mean, I can go first. Rock, paper, scissors. Just kidding.
So I want to say, like, we talked about it on our show. We did a little special and we talked about it. I like the character, and I will say this: as an actress herself doing it, I kind of side with Robert because we've been doing reviews of the show, and he said the same thing. She's an okay actress when she's by herself in a scene, but when you put it against all those other actors and actresses, she's garbage. And I'll say it: she's not great at acting. And so when you got Pascal, you got I can't think of all the other names of everybody, but when you have all those great actors, it's like you come down really far. You don't look great. So I love the character, but Lucy Lawless maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, we did see that after we.
Well, I've been saying it for a long time.
Yeah.
Because for me, like, we grew up Xena Warrior Princess era, so very much she's in the forefront, and we even liked her on that cheesy thing with the Evil Dead.
Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Yeah, Ash versus the Evil Dead. She's great.
We also have from Spartacus. She was in Spartacus.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. We were talking about we forgot to mention her.
And she has acting chops. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Like,
she
Cara
can
Dune
act,
is
yeah.
a good character in theory.
Yes.
The actress did not give us after you see Rosario Dawson be Ahsoka Tano.
I mean, in the fight scenes, she's excellent.
Yes.
Well, obviously because she's a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that, she's great, but like you were saying, Aaron, yeah, when she's when she's having lines with other actors, not as good.
Yeah.
It's a little off.
And that's what I think Robert sided with. He's like, I like her because I think there was a couple scenes where it was just her, and he's like, oh, she's not bad. And then when it would jump to a scene where here's Pascal and her, oh, she's bad.
Yeah.
And it would be like, yeah, I agree with you, Robert. Now that I see it more, I kind of agree with you.
She's very stiff. She reminded
Yes.
me a lot of, and we gave Ruby Rose a hard time, but she reminded me a lot of Ruby Rose and Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
She only had one level. There
Yeah.
was nothing to her.
Yeah.
And they've worked so hard with so many actors, like the young man who played Han Solo in the Solo movie.
Right.
Before that acting gig, he had been critiqued for that same problem, for being very static, and he went and took additional acting lessons and stuff before he went to Solo, and they took him and had him watch the movies over and over and watch the mannerisms, and they had him practice and stuff like that. So I know Cara Dune is her own character, and it's not like Rosario Dawson being Ahsoka Tano, who we know, or this young man being Han Solo, who we know, but she still needs to fit in with these characters who have life.
You still need to be more than two-dimensional.
Yeah.
And that, I agree with you. Now that you say that, I can see that. It's very much, I'm the soldier. I'm just going to walk around.
I'm a soldier.
Okay, I got to fight. And like you said, her fight teams, she's a UFC fighter. She knows how to choreograph these fights really well. But then, like, I don't know.
Her acting chops they aren't up to par.
No.
Especially against any of the ones that
No,
either Pedro Pascal or, Carl Weathers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, see, and I want for me, like, I want the Mandalorian to have those allies, right?
Yes.
He is who he is, and I was trying to explain him to somebody the other day who hadn't watched The Mandalorian, and I said, well, have you ever seen Judge Dredd? He's kind of like that. The law is what the rules are of what I've learned. The rules are what I've learned. I follow these rules. This is what I do until he gets to Grogu, right? But for the most part,
because this is the way.
He's not bad or good. He just follows this code and follows these rules, and that's his Bible, so to speak, that he follows, right?
So he's like Dexter.
Yeah, kind of. And so he needs those allies, but you need his allies to be, I don't know, like more passionate for him, I guess, like for his plight and what he's...
They need to balance that black and white. They need to be sometimes a little more gray, or they may be able to do other stuff instead.
Because they had Ming-Na come in with Boba, and just those little bits that we saw with her, and maybe I'm biased because I love Ming-Na. I just love her so much.
But she's an excellent actress.
She's an excellent actress. And so as soon as she's there, you get the powerful female character, you get the acting chops, you get the emoting, you get the attitude, because that girl's got attitude like for days. And it's not just like one-dimensional attitude, right? It's like, I'm from the west side of San Antonio attitude, like, I'm going to come at you, right? And I don't feel like Gina had all of that down.
I love that you comment, because I think when them two were in a scene together, I didn't even recognize that Gina's there.
Right.
And she took over that. It's like, look at me. I'm the head one right here. You look at me. Don't worry about this Gina girl. She's just here. She's my side girl over here. That's what she is. And but that's where I think it really showed that Gina didn't have the acting chops for it.
No. So I think acting like this is such a blow to the Mandalorian. Are they going to have to potentially rewrite some stuff? Yes.
I think...
And then what I've heard recently is that Jon Favreau is very upset about this, that they let her go. Because he had just finished the...
I think because he had Tales in his mind for the character, because
he has her in mind for that character, not anyone else.
But maybe if he sees Lucy Lawless. I'm just
Lucy, if you're watching.
No, I understand that. Like I said, I like the character, and I like the concept of the character. Was it fleshed out right by the right actress? Probably not.
No. Unless that's the direction that Jon Favreau wanted her to go, but I don't see that being the case. And sometimes as a creator, it's hard to step back from that, right?
Exactly.
Like, in his mind, he sees it a certain way.
Yeah, but on the last scene, you almost saw a glimmer of some acting chops on the last episode when she's conversing with that Rebel X-wing.
Oh, with the guy from Kim's Convenience.
With other Kim's Convenience.
I love that guy. He's
And
so great.
that's where you kind of saw where she started to learn how to act.
Yeah.
But that was it. That was the end.
And now she's gone.
And now she's gone.
And a lot of people say, oh, it's not reasonable that she's gone. She shouldn't be gone for what she did. You know, she has freedom of speech. I'm getting a little tired of hearing freedom of speech in this country because I don't have a problem with you having.
Yeah, well, she's not in jail.
But you
for
don't
anything
have
she
freedom
said.
of speech without consequences.
Right.
You have to take the consequences, and especially because she was warned already.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like this came out of the blue and this was her first thing. Some of these actors I kind of feel for when it's tweets and stuff that have resurfaced from like 6 years ago, 10 years ago on their Twitter account, rather than giving them a chance to say, you know what, 6 years ago or 10 years ago, this is who I was, but now that I've grown as a person, I've learned that this is probably not the best way to behave, and I'm going to change my ways moving forward. I hate that I feel like this country doesn't, especially media and geek stuff, doesn't give people that chance. I will say that I wish that chance was given more often.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel that Gina was given that chance. She had already
and she didn't
said,
take it.
No, she had already said things, and she's working for Disney. And Disney likes to think that it's a family-friendly company. Mm-hmm. They have a certain image, right? Disney has an image. It's had an image since Disney was created.
Yeah.
And so it's not like she's the first actor that they've employed that they've let go of because they don't fit the brand.
Mm-hmm. Now, will this affect Star Wars universe, Aaron?
I don't think so. I mean, easy enough right off as she leaves in the X-Wing and blows up, she's dead. Okay, bye, character. I mean, it could be something as simple as that. I think that's what Eric even commented yesterday on. And I think if you just recast her, who cares? No one's... Are we really going to notice? I mean, we let them recast... Well, not let them. They recast Rhodes in the Marvel Universe. You know, now we have Don Cheadle. And,
yeah, and then how many different Hulks have we had?
Exactly.
Like, how many different Spider-Mans have we had?
We live with it. We understand stuff happens. You know, Superman even. How many times has that been recasted? It's like, it's no big deal. It's, to me at this point, it's not about the person, it's about the character. Can we give this character a good storyline? Can we have this character keep moving forward with him? If not, random X-Wing explosion and you're dead.
And here's the thing, that she's not that big of a character.
Well, so they were talking about doing a spin-off with her, and with several of the other characters, another Western-esque type spin-off with these characters. So
I think they were gonna.
Some plans for her to potentially.
They had some plans of what she did before she came into the Mandalorian, like what happened like right after Return of the Jedi. But I think that's like 2 years down the line. That was going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, if they recast that character, they can still move on with that.
So, what do you think is better? Do you think it's better to recast her, or do you think it's better to just let her go? You know, there was a battle wherever she's the sheriff in town or whatever, and that kind of happens a lot, right? You know.
Yeah.
So, what do you think would be better?
I think recast her. When I was saying on the show last night is that we should go and get Ronda Rousey.
No.
And get her to do. She can act better.
No,
she can act better.
No, she
can act better than her.
No, she can't.
But after I saw Lucy Lawless, I was like, yeah, she could. Lucy Lawless could do it.
I honestly forgot completely about Lucy Lawless until I saw that post, and I was like, that's perfect. I need Lucy back in my life.
I said it back when they were warning her the first time to get her act together.
And
I was like, let's just replace her with Lucy Lawless.
And even at her age, she looks good.
She looks really good. And she is conscientious of the speech she uses on social media.
Well,
stop knocking Grogu down.
Right down. That's naughty.
Poor Grogu.
Poor Grogu's.
Just speaking of Grogu.
So yeah, she is very conscientious of what she puts out on social media.
And that's what companies companies are looking for nowadays. I mean, I know that people want to act like this is such a big deal and everything, but I mean, even if we look
They're like,
at,
oh, you got to protect your freedom of speech. I was like, yes, you're free to say whatever you're gonna say. You're not gonna go to jail for that.
Exactly.
no.
But
you can
there's
lose your job.
consequences that'll happen. Like if I go through and say something crazy like that, I would be fired from my job if somebody found out about it from work.
Me too. I mean, we're very careful about what we say here on the show, what we post on social media, because I'm an educator.
Mm-hmm.
So there are certain jobs that have this inherent sense of you need to be aware of what you say in a public forum.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we turn the cameras off and I'm all kinds of a real, jerk off person here at my own home and the rest of the world doesn't have to know about it, that's fine. That's my prerogative, as long as I don't put that out there in the world, and I don't ever tell my students, I don't put it in a public forum, which I'm totally not like that, by the way. But
Here's the thing. Back in the day, we didn't have all this social media.
No, but
So
even then,
when you would keep this with just your home or just your friends, it stayed there.
That's right.
Now, if
you
you're letting it out, you're
that.
letting it out to everyone.
But even then, when we had public forums, because you and I were both brought up to like go to church and stuff, and even back in the day when we went to church, I just remember like time and place. Like when you went to school, when you went to work, when you went to church, there was a time and place to talk about things and to not talk about things.
Mm-hmm.
And like the stuff that you would say with your friends, like walk into school or whatever, was sure as heck not the stuff you were going to say around your mama or your church people.
Yeah.
Right? So we used to have this understanding of time and place too. So
Mm-hmm.
you're telling me that Gina has no friends that she could talk to? Like if you want to talk like this, send a private message.
Yeah.
Or like you're a public figure, so you can't even send private messages because people are going to snap that and send it.
Yeah.
So, but in person, unless somebody's recording you and they want to get, but again, like you're a public figure. You can't, right?
Right.
You just, and you shouldn't. And you shouldn't, because there used to be a time where public figures were supposed to be a good influence also.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm going to let my family, if I'm going to let my kids, if I'm going to let you into my home,
Exactly.
you should be better than this.
Right.
I mean, Johnny Depp got fired from being Grindelwald because he beats up his wife. And there are allegations of that. I don't know because I'm not at their home, but because of that, he got fired from that.
I thought it was the other way around, that he got beat up.
They're both messed up.
They're both.
Yeah.
They're both messed up.
It was both of them. Yeah.
It's like a normal domestic thing, but they're rich, so it's super messed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
True.
And they, because of the way J.K. Rowling behaves, they've removed her from having creative license on the movies and stuff. When you are a big company and you're trying to put out a mass media product,
Yeah.
and there are people that are being homophobic or transphobic or racist or anti-Semitic, those are things that we are no longer willing to accept, right? So these companies are saying, you're a public figure, we're not going to accept that. I mean, look at Roseanne Barr. The show was named after her, and they were like, you're out, and we're renaming the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's very, very true. I mean, I always look back at someone like Chris Hardwick, though. He had allegations against him. He lost Talking Dead. He lost The Wall. He lost everything for a moment, and then they investigated it and then turned around. So I also see the other side of it, where it's allegations and then it's proven that, this isn't true, but it's already tarnished your reputation at that point.
Right.
So, like someone like Johnny Depp, if it's true or not, we don't know. And there's three sides to every story. There's his, there's hers, and then there's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And no one will ever know the truth. And that's kind of where I look at it. Like, we'll never know what really happened. But, if they investigate it and they prove one side or the other, okay, then I'm just going to, you do your investigations, and that's what we'll go with. But on her, it's like you said, and we talked about yesterday, you knew what you were doing. You knew exactly what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You said these things before, or said something bad before. They probably told you, no, don't do that. Well, let it slide, and then you do it again. And almost, in my mind, this is worse.
Right.
So it's like, no.
Yeah.
Now we gotta let you go.
So we have Champagne Pee-Pee commenting.
Oh, wow.
He says he got beat up. I guess he's talking about Johnny Depp. And we also have Adam say, "Hey friends, we live in crazy times. We do live in crazy times because times have changed."
Yeah, I think we live in progressive times. Like, we're progressing to a new level of what we are all trying to decide is acceptable, right?
Mm-hmm. But acceptable in in cyberspace.
Right.
Because this is something that we never had to deal with, and we have to learn how to be. We need to learn etiquette when it comes to social media.
But that's a perfect world, etiquette in social
You're
media.
crazy. Crazy talk.
That's crazy talk. That's
not
never gonna
I
happen.
mean, we have etiquette in real life. You need to translate that
it's
over, and
not gonna happen.
that's what needs to happen.
It's
It
not
does,
gonna happen.
but-
People
Yeah.
get behind their keyboard or their cell phone keyboard or whatever, and all of a sudden they think, I'm just going to throw all this out here. I'm just going to throw this all out here and just say whatever came to my mind, just popped in my head and all kinds of crazy stuff, and I'm just going to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not going to be any consequence to me because I'm here in my little safe zone behind my keyboard. Yeah, so I'm fine right here. It's just safe right here.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be safe right there because you're putting it out there for everybody to see.
Well, now when something happens like this, then why aren't people saying, well, it's not just safe to just say whatever I want? Obviously, because she's gone.
Because people really still, in this country, people still like to fall back on freedom of speech and I am my own person and I can be unique and I can say whatever I want and, and that's fine. You can. You can say whatever you want. But then just don't expect there to be no consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. You have to accept the consequences.
And that's true. That's what it comes down to. You just have to accept the consequences for your own actions.
Yeah.
You do it in real life. If you hit somebody, they can hit you back. I mean, well, you hit them first.
Yeah, Angel says everyone knows that no matter what, in today's times, you must watch what you say and be mindful of your comments and posts.
Well, and I would think
We should.
that as an
Most people should know that.
Well, but you would think as an actor or an actress, right? My livelihood as an actor or an actress is dependent on studios wanting to book me for jobs
Mm-hmm.
to pay me, right? So they want to book me more if I have more of a following of people that like me and are endeared to me because then I'm going to bring more people to their movie and make them more money. So it's kind of this whole cycle that you would think in a business sense that actors and actresses would understand, right? So you have to have a persona. I know that you want to have a personal life and you want to be a human being. Trust me, I do too. As a teacher, though, I have to have this public persona of who I am and how I behave. And sometimes do I get mad about things? Sometimes do I say naughty potty words? I do sometimes. Do those things. But I don't do it in public. I don't do it around my students. I don't do it around my students' parents. When I give trainings and stuff and I'm trying to grow a following, a teacher following, so that I can do better in my job, I don't do all of that stuff. You have like a VP position.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go around and doing all that stuff either, right?
No, I mean, because we are 24/7, we're representing my company or my corporation, so I can't do anything like that.
Right.
Not that I would want to, but it's not something that I can do because if that gets seen, then it gets back to somehow gets back to my corporation. They're saying we don't employ people like this.
Right. Because
So bye, Vince.
Well, yeah, because your company has a very specific brand, right? Just like Disney.
Yep.
And if you don't fit in that brand, then you have to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's that simple.
And that's true. And that's what we were talking about, I think, yesterday with, I think David said it yesterday. You don't, she's not working right now. It's like, but you're a public figure. At that point, you're always working.
Right.
No matter what. Like, yes, you're not physically in front of the camera working, but does she have a script already for the next season? Does she already in negotiation with contracts for her next, whatever the case may be, but she is still a public figure. So at this point, you're almost always working. No matter when you think you're not working, you're still working because, like you said, these other companies are looking at you like, do I want her in my movie? Oh, I saw her in this last movie. She was really good. You have to always keep that persona up almost until, like you said, when you come home, you shut your door. Then you're the real version of yourself and the safest version of yourself, maybe. But yeah, you can't be throwing it out there. You just really can't.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean unless you're so independently wealthy that you can basically be your own brand. But even like recently, Nick Cannon, who has been with Viacom for years and years, and he's on like The Masked Singer and The Masked Dancer,
Yeah.
and Who Wants to Be This Kind of Superstar and all this.
Yeah, he's
like,
everywhere.
He's everywhere. He has his own podcast. He said anti-Semitic things.
Mm-hmm.
He said racially charged things against white people that were considered to be inciting. And after 20 years of working with Viacom, they told him, you will no longer be working with us because of what you said.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Dang.
Yeah.
I didn't know that one. I didn't pay attention to Candy.
Yeah.
So it was just like a big story because he's been with them since he was like a kid. He's been with them, you know, and for them to let him go and people want to say, you know, that because of his ethnicity that he shouldn't be taxed with not saying those things, but all of us should be taxed with that. We're never going to come together as a people if we can't each stop that.
Yeah.
Right?
We all need to grow as a society, and we are kind of stunted our growth right now.
Yeah.
Because of social media.
I think so, yeah. Because we can say whatever it is that we want to say.
And then we can hide behind the keyboard.
Yeah. But do you think that it's fair or that it's right for people to not have any chance to like make amends? Like the kid that was the elastic guy on The Flash.
Yeah.
I feel like they drug up all this stuff from many, many years ago.
That's it, and that's I had a big problem with that because like it was like 10 years ago.
It was like 10 years ago.
10 years ago that he said something.
It was like misogynistic.
A little misogynistic, and they're bringing it back, and then they got rid of him, which he was a different person 10 years ago than he is now.
James Gunn, right, from Guardians of the Galaxy?
Mm-hmm.
They did the same thing to him, wasn't it? So like a tweet he said like 10 years ago, and he's even said, I'm not that same person that I was when I said that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for doing that, but I didn't know better, basically. But then they were still trying to get rid of him from the movies.
Yeah, and I thought that was baloney, too.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's trying to search up all of your past skeletons. Well, why doesn't everybody open all their closets and show? Because I don't think there's any of us that are perfect.
No, no one is.
You know, if you're continuing to show that you haven't grown as a person, that's fine. But again, the world was very different 10 years ago. The world was different 5 years ago. A lot of people have recently had their eyes open that didn't have their eyes open. You know, some people come from like affluent families and stuff that they've never had experiences with anybody else but their ethnicity.
Yeah.
You know?
Adam's making a comment, says she's Gina already been picked up to do a new movie through another studio. Okay, we talked about this.
Yeah.
We talked about this before, but she's like a director.
So I believe what I was reading, she's either like the director and writer or the executive producer and writer. She's having creative control over it.
Yeah.
So what she just said, I think it just came out today, is that now she's working with Ben Shapiro, who is a
controversial.
Thank you. Couldn't think of the word all of a sudden. And so one of her comments makes me think that some of this was kind of planned. And I'm going to kind of throw it out there, maybe my little conspiracies. But it's like, you know, why did you do that? And all of a sudden now you're like, hey, I'm working with Ben Shapiro now.
She did it to get out of her contract.
Yeah, because one of her lines was something that now I can say what I want to say or something like that. And I'm like, that's an interesting way of putting, like, why you said what you did. So, I don't know.
Because notice how she's not going after Disney for saying, oh, you're breaching the contract.
Yeah,
we haven't heard anything like that. So she's
I'm
broken
sure
the contract.
Caveats in their contract.
Yeah, she's broken the contract by doing what she did.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure Disney has a contract that says that's stating this. If you put anything out there, well, they have. I'm sure they have ironclad.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have 100 lawyers look at it before it reaches your hands.
Well, so it would be interesting if this is the case because you know, Vincent and I really like all of Kevin Smith's stuff and the Jay and Silent Bob stuff and all of his other stuff, and we've watched Kevin Smith several times.
Yeah.
And Kevin Smith talks about his movie Dogma, which had a lot of controversy around it,
Mm-hmm.
and he would go to protests against his own movie, and he would protest his own movie because he said bad publicity is better than good publicity because people aren't paying attention to good publicity.
That is
But
true.
bad publicity gets people riled up, gets them split, gets them defensive, and then they're like, oh, well, I'm going to go see that piece of trash so that I can talk about it, you know? And then your movie makes more money. So, that's an interesting...
It makes me wonder on it.
That does make me wonder.
Because it's like you just said, nope, there's no such, in some of their minds, there is no such thing as bad publicity.
Right.
You know, and Kevin Smith, I think, is a good one for that because of Dogma. And then when he wrote, like, Spider-Man and Daredevil, I think it was, when he wrote those comics, they were trying to boycott him then because they said that he was against women.
Mm-hmm.
And just because of some of the storylines he wrote, I'm not going to say what they were, but if you go read them, it's like, he's not degrading women, he's just saying that these are real issues that happen, but you just don't like that I'm talking about it.
Right.
So it's controversial to you. And now it's something I think that we probably, if he wrote them now, I think we might understand where he was coming from more.
Yeah, and a lot of people are talking about this like it's cancel culture. It's not cancel culture. It's not cancel culture because she broke a contract with Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm sure, like you said, that they have rules ahead of time, that you know ahead of time, that, you know, you're not supposed to do this, and that. Like,
every job out there has an employee handbook out there that you have to abide by, that probably nobody ever reads.
No, you just signed it because you want
You
to
just signed it because you want to work
Yeah.
and make money. But if you read it, it'll list every single thing.
So yeah, us teachers have been real tired
Yeah.
lately, so we have been reading the handbook because we wanted to know what all other duties as assigned to count as.
Was I really supposed to do all this?
Yeah, was I really supposed to do all this? Unfortunately, it is in our employee handbook,
That's
so
funny.
we're out of luck.
Mhm.
You know.
Well, see, and I know people are like, oh, Disney's not wanting to rock the boat, and this. I know I'm seeing other stuff like that. Like Disney's all this persona of Disney, but not. What was it like 2 years ago? Disney was working with, I think it was a. I could be wrong on what exactly it was, but I think it was like a Make-A-Wish Foundation kid. They sent like some, you know, like, oh, here's your Spider-Man stuff. All this. His favorite hero was Spider-Man. The little boy dies, so in order, the father wanted to do a tombstone of Spider-Man. Well, you have to get permission from Disney, and Disney denied it, saying, oh, sorry for your loss, but we're not going to let you have this character because our characters don't die, essentially. So they didn't want the tombstone to have Spider-Man anywhere on it. So it's like, Disney also, on the other flip side, doesn't care if they make people mad because they want to protect their product.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, some people are like, oh, Disney's one way or the other. I was like, I don't think Disney in general cares, but like you said, it's a family thing, and this is a family thing, and then like you said, it's probably the contract, don't be what you were doing, don't be saying these things, you know. Talk nice about people, be friendly, be polite, be this, be that. Because Disney just wants to protect their
Well,
own
and
product.
Disney, let's just be honest, Disney wants to protect their product,
Yeah.
like you were saying, and they have gotten a lot of grief in the cancel culture about the princesses, all the princesses falling in love so easily, and how misogynistic it all is, and how bad they, you know, talked about Arabian culture in Aladdin, and how Belle was abused by the Beast, and she still fell for him, and how, you know, they're making little girls into mindless, you know, slaves and stuff. So Disney has gotten a lot of flack, and they're trying to remake that image, right? Because and maybe that was their intent, because it was a lot of white dudes that made all of these. But I really love Disney, so please just don't like push my little Disney bubble. Okay, I'm just gonna pretend like it was happy princesses with little Tweety birds and stuff, and it's fine. So I mean, I can see why they're trying, because they're trying to.
You got to backpedal the last 40 years, 50 years now.
Yeah, they're trying to make their image a little less tarnished, because it's already fairly tarnished in a lot of people's minds.
Yeah.
And there is a bit of a problem with that, I think.
Yeah.
I think again, it's
But what
talking
people
about
have
looking
to
at time frame and intent, and
what people have to understand is that 50 years go by, as a society, we have to change with the times. It doesn't stay the same. This whole thing is like, oh, well, 50 years ago it was so much better.
Really?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was just stuff was more tolerated back then,
Yeah.
and stuff is not
I agree with
tolerated
that.
anymore.
And then like the other side of it, my mom would always talk about. I never heard about so many deaths and all that. And I was like, well, yeah, but now it's easier to hear about the guy who died in Pennsylvania when you used to live in Florida, which was her dad was in the military. My grandpa. You don't hear about what happens in Pennsylvania. You hear what happens in your Florida. You hear what happens in California, whatever. Unless it was a huge, huge thing, then you hear. But now it's like I can go on social media. 6 happened here. This happens here. So many people over here. It's like holy crud. But it's like it was always happening. Now we're just
now we
more
just
aware.
are more aware of
Yeah.
it. Yeah. But even like with Gone with the Wind being taken off, even Whoopi Goldberg said there is still a place for those things because they're historical, and because Mammy was the first black actress to win an Academy Award because
Yeah.
of that film. So there are benefits that came from it. There are recognitions that came from it. So there is a way to look at it as a piece of art that's talking about a terrible time in our history and say, hey, that was a terrible time in our history.
That's something that happened.
Let's acknowledge
Yeah.
that and not repeat it, right?
Exactly. If you forget history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So Angel says, like the old Tom and Jerry cartoons had so much racism in them. That
Oh, yeah.
back then,
back
yes,
then,
there
big
was a
time.
ton of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was
Like,
tolerated
look at
back
Speedy
then.
Gonzales.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I never thought about Speedy until you said that right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of tropes in Looney Tunes cartoons and stuff that was very the whole rooster. If you look at Foghorn Leghorn, is very like Southern plantation, like yeah, because that was the way things were back then.
Yeah.
And nowadays
now they aren't like that
they aren't
anymore.
like that
so
anymore.
people need to change
And
because
that's
it's not
okay.
the same.
And
Exactly.
that's okay, and it's good for it not to be that way anymore. Yeah. So I say bye bye Gina, and Ted Cruz, get over yourself, okay? Just because she's from Texas, I'm sorry. And I was really mad that Ted Cruz, because apparently he's never watched Star Wars, wants to get on Twitter and talk about how she's the only strong female character Star Wars has ever had. And he dissed all the other female characters in the Star Wars universe, like totally
My
dissed
head
them.
hurts now.
Yes. And said, well, because she was a Texan and she was a truth speaker, that she got canned from Disney. And she was the only strong female character that Disney had ever brought, that anybody had ever brought into the Star Wars universe.
Go watch Star Wars 10.
Yeah, go
Big
watch
necklace.
Star Wars 10
Yeah.
and get a clue.
I didn't know that.
Yes, it made me so...
Because you can also include, you can conclude all the women that were in, even in like the Clone Wars and
Well, yeah, and
all of.
I'm sorry, but people want to say that Princess Leia wasn't a strong woman. Hello, she was in a bikini and choked a big blob with a chain while wearing a bikini and looking good. So if that's not fierce, I don't know what
I
it
can
is.
pull this off. Hang on.
Watch me. Here
Let
I
me
go.
choke him to death.
Right? That's insane. Well, Michelle Rodriguez is from San Antonio.
Yeah.
Maybe we can put her in there.
Oh, she's a good actress. She's got chops.
And she's a
And
I
she's
would not
got
want to
that
mess with
like
her.
she's got that hardcore like I will cut you kind of vibe too.
I'm from the south side now.
I'm from the south side of San Antonio.
To a west side, we got the south side. We're good. Imagine her and Ming up there, both of them.
That would be
I'd
awesome.
Like,
That would
west
be
and
awesome.
south side. Let's go.
I hope Ming Na is in some more of the. I hope she's in the Boba Fett.
I hope so too. I love her as an actress.
I do too. I love her so much. She's
Yeah.
my fave.
So another thing that's happening that we're going to touch on for a little bit, since we're so passionate about this, but apparently the collectible market within Amazon is like going away.
What?
And that's because of they have to get the safety things. Is that what it is,
So
Stuart?
fill us in on this because you know most about it.
Alright, what's happening is Amazon, before Christmas, has started requiring thousands, if not millions, of their items from their sellers to have the Children Product Certification Safety Report, which is absolutely fine and dandy, but because Amazon is run by Skynet and you have no real humans, what Amazon has done has gone through and has flagged millions of children's products under the age of 12 and they are requiring current documentation. The problem with that is documentation, when it's pushed out by the companies, lasts 2 years. So therefore, anything older than 2 years does not have current documentation. So anything
And a lot of it's not being produced anymore, right? It's
yeah.
older stuff that people are trying to sell, and
Yeah. So what's happening is Amazon is requiring current documentation, and the wonderful thing about their bots, looking at the reports that people are sending in, they're only allowing stuff that is documented 1 year ago, and the documentation costs between $200 to about $1,500 per item.
Whoa.
oh whoa.
Per item?
Yeah. So, for example, my little catalogue of 300 items, I had 100 things flagged. None of them have current documentation because it's all old stuff. Currently, most of the items I sell on Amazon from those flag things, I sell maybe $500 to $600 worth of product per item. So it's not really worth me getting any of that documentation.
Because you have to send it to a lab and get them to
to
safety
a lab,
test it,
and then they have to safety test it, and blah blah blah. And the other wonderful thing is Amazon is asking everybody that sells those products to send the documentation in. So what's happening is if there's 10 people that have that product, 10 people are trying to send that documentation in. So what's happening is they're flooding companies like Hasbro and Mattel and Funko. Everybody's calling them saying, well, we need this documentation, and they're going, well, we provided it directly to Amazon because Amazon sell it already. And most people are going, okay, so then why am I supposed to request it again?
Yeah.
So why not just put a disclaimer? Oh wait, nobody reads.
So,
True.
so there's
So it used to be like we played with whatever. I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say I didn't swallow some rocks whole when I was a kid. Like, you know, and you survival of the fittest, right? So if you choke on a toy, that's on you, bro. Like, your mom better learn the Heimlich maneuver. Like, you know, it used to not be this big of a deal about everything.
Well, again, this is just Amazon trying to cover their butt, and they're passing it on to the people.
Not that we're telling kids to choke on toys.
Because
we're not.
Survival of the fittest.
It's passing it on to their sellers and putting their sellers at. So as of today is the first day that a lot of stuff is going to go away. I've been on the forums and stuff. I have about 8 or 9 things that are going to disappear. I've already had things get turned into dog pages.
And it's difficult because that's kind of like one of the first places I go to look for like collectible stuff, because that's where you can get things a little bit cheaper without having to deal with the eBay stuff, because I'm not always certain I'm going to get the stuff from eBay.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
But at least through Amazon, I feel more protected.
If you
Per se?
label it, Stuart, as a collectible and say it's for a higher market, do you have to have these things?
You don't. If it's over the age of 12, but then
But
again.
who decides who's over the age of 12?
But then again, if the product when it originally was uploaded says it's for 4 and up, you can't change that, because a lot of sellers have been going in and changing the age, trying to get around it that way, and some of them have been getting it. But like some of these people have like thousands and thousands of things they have to request. Especially, I only have a very small catalog, and most of my stuff is older. I do Transformers and I do Masters of the Universe and Turtles. All my Turtles are gone. They were the first ones to get turned to dog pages. And for you guys, you don't know what a dog page is. What a dog page is when you go to Amazon and you're looking for a specific thing. Perhaps you Googled it, and when you click on the page, it pops up a picture of a dog from Amazon and say, this is Charlie from blah blah blah, and it doesn't show you anything. And it's annoying as all hell.
Dogs are not annoying, they're lovely.
So,
Amazon dog.
David says justice for Gina. I was like, there's no justice that needs to be.
Like, justice for her
See, I
what?
don't
She's
get
not
that.
like...
She's not in jail.
She's not in jail. Justice for what? For her job?
And you already have a new job with Ben Shapiro, so congratulations.
Yeah.
You're good.
So, yeah, the catalogs are going to go bye-bye. So, a lot of older stuff, if you're looking for stuff that's older, it's probably not going to be there. And, I mean, a lot of people have gone, well, we'll just go to other markets because it's not going to be physically on Amazon anymore.
Yeah.
So when people go to look up a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle from the 2000 line and it's not there, well, they'll just go somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
eBay will-
Amazon-
eBay
You
will
can
be
sell it
happy.
at Walmart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird that Walmart sells a bunch of stuff out for other people, but I bet their rules are stringent too.
No.
No. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Well, I
So-
guess we'll start
Walmart.
looking
We
on
don't care.
Walmart.
So, but it's odd because nobody in the media has picked this up. It's not anywhere, but it's
Well, 'cause,
going.
you know,
And you're finding
Jeff
out here
Bezos
on
has-
Geek Out SA.
Because Jeff Bezos has a ton of money.
No, Jeff Bezos quit. Nobody
Well,
cares.
he did.
Yeah, he's not the
Still.
CEO anymore.
This is why he's quit.
Yeah.
Anakin's
Don't
son.
know
He
me.
quit
No.
before everything. He's like, I'm out. I'm done.
Let me mess this up for Stuart.
Leave Aaron alone. Leave Aaron
Bye,
alone.
Stuart.
Yeah. So it will be interesting because again, people don't really know because again, when you search on something, Amazon's not going to say it's not available. It's just going to not be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just gone.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like, I just don't get it because you have so many competitors too. You have eBay, you have other ones, so it's like, you're gonna, I don't know.
But Amazon has so much product on their
That is
own
true.
and everything, and some of it I bet they're like, well, I could sell this, but for like $20 more with Prime shipping. So I'll just make sure that all these other sellers are like knocked out.
Because it's funny because Amazon sells our whatchamacallit, our RPG
RPG.
Yeah.
for less than we actually sell it for.
Really?
And I was like, well, how's that possible? Because I haven't sold any.
Yeah.
How are they going through and saying, yeah, I can sell it, but they don't even have it?
That's weird.
They'll find a way.
They find a way.
That's really weird. That
They'll
makes
buy it in, like, if somebody does it, they'll buy it in bulk and then they'll start
sense.
selling
Drive the
it.
price down.
Yeah.
That makes sense then. It's just.
Do it. Just buy a lot of them, Amazon. A lot of them.
All the books.
All the
They're-
RPGs.
Trust me, they're not selling. I have to have some of them. I'm an
Never tried.
official licensed seller and I haven't sold one.
We don't promote them anymore, unfortunately. Without conventions.
I've sold a few on Lulu.
Yeah.
Lulu.
Yeah.
Lulu. That's crazy though. I can't believe that Amazon would just do that. But I mean, if you're making millions, I guess a few bucks here and there, they don't mind.
Again, providing Amazon isn't selling it, they usually don't care.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon do a lot of shady stuff that people don't realize that they do. They're just happy to get their stuff and it's got the little Amazon thing. I can send it back whenever.
Yeah. That's.
Yeah, there are certain conveniences.
Hate that. Hate it.
So
Tell us how you
next time on Geek Out SA, it'll be Stuart complains about Amazon. Tune in.
Oh, that's great. Amazon's gonna kick me off now. That's
His real name isn't Stuart though. We promise.
Well, that isn't his real name.
Very
See,
cool.
there you go.
But guys, thanks for coming in and checking us out. We talked about Gina, and we talked about a lot, and then we kind of like touched on what's happening with Amazon right now and what's going on. But if you haven't clicked on the subscribe button, click on that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so next time we go live or next time we put out a video, you'll know. But thanks for checking us out. I'm Vince.
I'm Colleen, and that's Aaron, and Stuart over there.
Geek Out SA.
Give him cheese like when people come over, so that it's like a really big treat for him, so
Yeah.
that he's like, because you saw how he reacts.
Yeah. He's like, oh, people are
I'm gonna
reminded.
kill them all.
I felt bad. I went to my friend's 2 weekends ago. And she has a big dog, and she's trying to try